Hey girl, hey. So today class is officially in session. Today is going to be confidence 101. But before we can even talk about confidence, we're going to have to talk about her arch enemy, okay? So you're probably wondering, like, okay, China, who is confidence's arch enemy? And her enemy is self doubt. So the dictionary definition of self doubt is a lack of confidence in oneself and one's ability. So pretty much thinking that you can't do anything, you're not good at anything, you'll never amount to anything. That is self doubt. So we're going to unpack right now the roots of self doubt. And I have my handy dandy little notebook. So the roots of self doubt are negative self talk. So the way that you talk to yourself really, really matters, and negative words from others. So what have people said about you, to you, things like that. We have childhood experiences. Something in your childhood that kind of made you always doubt yourself and not have that confidence that you need to make it through life. You have past failures or rejection. Sometimes something can happen to us when we are 5 years old and we carry that through adulthood. Perfectionism. I have to be perfect. I have to be perfect because one time I failed and I haven't been able to get past that one time. Comparison of others, like, oh my gosh, I'm doubting myself because so and so is killing it, so and so just bought this, they're doing that. A lack of support or validation, like nobody never just says good job, China. Nobody never shows up to any of my dance recitals or my plays or my sporting events. And just a fear of judgment, like, wow, what are people going to say if I am my most confident self? What are people going to say if I walk in a room and act like I own it? What are they going to say? And so we have to challenge each one of these and overcome them in order to be our most confident selves. We have to attack these things at the root and get to that point where it's like, wow, I can actually overcome this and be my most confident self. Oftentimes, when we have a lot of self doubt, it stems from somewhere. So, we're going to get to the root today of where our lack of confidence stems from. So then we can fix that and then become our most confident self. So, again, welcome to Confidence 101. So, before we get into the action steps of how to become confident, we're going to do a little story time. So I would say, a confident person who does have bouts of self doubt, but I haven't always been this confident. Now, I have known how to fake it till I make it, but honestly, I would say middle school to high school were some of the roughest times for me when it comes to confidence. I've always just felt like I'm never good enough. Like, I need to be like so and so. Like, am I weird? Is my personality too quirky? Like, I've always just struggled with comparing myself to others. A lot of the roots of self doubt I have experienced, just past failures, rejections. Like, I just remember being a child, just always wanting to be accepted and never really getting that. So I would definitely say from sixth grade to 12th grade, confidence was shot. And with my confidence being shot, I definitely didn't treat myself the best way or allow others to treat me the best way, because low self esteem, a lot of self doubt, it really oozes. The way you treat yourself is how others are going to treat you. So if you don't ooze confidence or ooze self care and self love, trust me, it's gonna be a hot ghetto mess, because that's what my life was like from middle school into high school. And honestly, when I got to college, I just had this, I would say, epiphany of like, I am loved by the most high God. Like, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Like, I am a child of a king. Why am I acting this way? So literally, that getting saved and just understanding my identity and all these things really helped me change my outlook. So there's very rarely that I walk into a room where my head is not held up high and where I am not like giving people direct eye contact. Literally, I just had to transform my life. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired of always comparing myself. And of course, there are times where I do compare myself, or I am struggling with perfectionism, because those are things that don't necessarily go away, but you more so need the tools to navigate them. So, what am I going to give you today? The tools. So that's just a brief, quick story time. Middle school and high school was so rough, but I got it together, because you get tired of not being your most confident self, because that's who you were innately created to be. So we are going to go ahead and talk about how to become our most confident selves. All right, so we're going to talk about 3 practical tips to build confidence. Tip number 1 is going to be identify the root. So go ahead and go back to the different roots of self confidence that we previously talked about. And let's say you pick a root. So once you pick the root, you are going to ask yourself why 5 times. And I got that from Mel Robbins. So pretty much I'll ask myself, like, okay, China, why aren't you confident right now? Let's say I say, I'm not confident right now because I am dealing with negative self talk. Then you're going to ask yourself the first why. Why am I dealing with negative self talk? I'm dealing with negative self talk because I don't feel my best right now. Why don't you feel your best right now? That's the second why, second or third. And so you keep asking yourself why until you get to that root. The root is, I feel like I'm not in alignment right now with where I thought my life would be going. So once you get to that root, you can kind of workshop it and assess it. So tip 2 is going to be, you're going to create systems to overcome that root. So for example, let's say I said my root is negative self-talk. I have to come up with a system to overcome that. So one system that I'm going to do to overcome that is to reframe my mindset. So if I say, wow, China, you suck. Let's just say that's the word I'm gonna say. Wow, China, you suck. I'm gonna combat that negative self-talk with positive self-talk. So I'm gonna say, actually, I don't suck. I'm amazing. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. So I'm gonna just always reframe that negative talk. And another thing that you can also do is always write down your wins. So whenever you're dealing with negative self-talk, I'm gonna go back and be like, actually, no, I don't, because I did X, Y, and Z. So always keep track of your wins, because you're gonna need those wins when your brain is trying to have you thinking some crazy stuff that don't got nothing to do with you. So that is tip number 2. Tip number 2 is create systems. So if you're dealing with perfectionism, create a system where it's like, if you do mess up, you take a pause, a brief pause, or you take a break, or you go do something you love, just to reframe your brain. And number 3 is, honestly, get to work. Whatever system that you are putting in place to be your most confident self, get to work and stick with it. Give yourself 3 months of following that system and just see how confidently you walk into a space. See how confidently you run your meetings, you show up to meetings. And yes, you're going to create that framework to reframe every negative thought that is stopping you from your confidence. Every piece of childhood trauma, childhood experiences, rejection, all of those things, you're going to create systems to overcome them. All right. So, my homework for you all for this week is to pick one root of your self doubt and commit to 3 months of overcoming that root. I love you all so much. And I would love it if you all head to the description and fill out the Google form for my email list. I have a lot of cool things coming this year. I definitely would not be able to do it without you all. So I definitely would love you go ahead and give me that email, because once we get to a certain number of email subscribers, I'm going to send out an email and we are going to build this community. I haven't decided what the email cadence is going to be, but I am going to send out an email at a decided cadence. That's going to be filled with so many goodies, so many just fruitful things for your life. So definitely make sure you head to the comments and go ahead and drop your email in that email list. I love you all so much, and I hope you all have an amazing week. And I'll see you back here, same time, same place.